My journey at the sanctuary was euphoric. That's the best word that I can describe it. I got here, I was angry, sad, just denial, blamed everybody for everything, didn't think I needed to be here. I felt like I was pressured to come, or that everything in my life was going to fall apart, that I was going to lose everything. And when I got here and started realizing that, like, I'm confused, I don't understand what this is, everybody here were so patient and realized how my brain worked and said, okay, let's shift our conversation so that you can connect the dots. And then once the dots started connecting, then the wall came down, and then it became so much easier to dig deep and do the work and realize that, oh my God, like, I'm not damaged, I'm not broken, I'm not flawed, I'm not this horrible person that I've been made to feel like for several years, that I just need help remembering who I am and help letting go of everything that has just haunted me for several years, because that doesn't define me. And when I started digging deep into the work, I found that my coping strategies weren't working anymore. I couldn't even use them here. They just literally stopped working. And that's when the light bulb went off. And that's when I started reaching out to people as they would walk by, and I'm like, Dean, I'm upset, but I don't know why. I don't know how to handle this. Reach out to Kelly or Karen or whoever, and they would just sit with me. They wouldn't try to put a Band-Aid on it and be like, oh, you're better, you'll be better later, just tomorrow's a new day. It was breaking it down so that I could see that, like, okay, are you really angry, or are you just hurt? And what were you doing here? Like, what happened today? Okay, when were you triggered? And then breaking that down for me to be able to see anger was my number one emotion that I went to, because it was easy and it was easy to work with. And then when I started realizing that I'm not angry and I'm hurt, then I was able to process that hurt. I was able to process that sadness and get rid of it and see, A, what is it about that I need to see about myself? And B, if it was somebody else that hurt me, they don't get to be a part of me anymore. They don't get to control my thought process and the decisions that I make. Because even though they may not be a part of my life anymore, when that hold is on you, it dictates everything. It dictates how you live your life, what friends you have, what family you associate with, what kind of person you are. You start to value your self-worth on those things. And I found that not just physically, but emotionally, like doing the energy work, like things were just being released. And then as I remembered things I had completely forgotten, they weren't scary. It was just something that I forgot as a self-preservation. And then when they would come up, I had so much support in each session, or just walking around and talking to somebody, that it was no longer anxious and scary to deal with. It was like, okay, this is real, this happened, but I don't have to let it be here anymore. And then I can process it and let it go. And now I feel as happy as I've ever been in probably 20 years. I feel like I can go home and set boundaries with the people that I love. I can set boundaries with work. I can go home and say, this is what I need, and I'm sorry if it's not what you think I should need, but this is what I know that I need. And even if they can't give me that, I've learned to give myself what I need. And the biggest new coping strategy that I've learned is, I may not know what it is I'm feeling, and I may not know why, but that's okay. I just got to reach out. And that it's not shameful to be like, you don't know what you need, you don't know what you're feeling, you should be fine. And not judge myself for those feelings, but to say, that's okay, I just need some help understanding it so that I can work through it and let it go. And now I have all these tools and these skills to go home and be able to take myself out of a situation and de-escalate much, much faster than I would have had I not come here. My journey's been transforming, and I know it's just the beginning, but I have the foundation set that I know that if I just continue to work with it, it'll just be easier and easier and better finding a life purpose, realizing who's in my life that needs to be there, who isn't, who brings value to me, who doesn't. To see that, and to see that my self-worth isn't based on what I do and who's around me. So it's been a wild ride, but I remember things about myself that I lost, and I learned qualities about myself that I didn't even know I had. Yeah, when I talked to Holly Rose, and I was nervous about it. I didn't know about being transgender here, and I didn't know how it was going to be received. I didn't know anything about energy medicine, so I didn't know what people's beliefs were and what their stances were, and it was scary. It was like, oh my God, what if they find out and then they start treating me differently? What if my, I'm not accepted into the group anymore because they find out? And I was really reassured by Holly Rose that you guys are open. The sanctuary is accepting of everybody and everything. And even though I knew that deep down, when I first got here, it was still out of place. You still felt like you needed to hold that in because you just didn't know anybody. And then I started telling people hey, in sessions, hey, I'm transgender, and I just need you to know that. I found myself going, just do that, out of fear that wrong pronouns were going to be used. That because my insurance card says my birth name, that was going to cause a problem. And every single person that I told was like, okay, so what can we do? What do you need? And at that point, I became comfortable in my own skin here. I began to own that I am male, I am transgender, and I'm proud of it. And even though there are layers to dig down to heal parts of that, from family rejection, friend rejection, fear of people knowing, I was able to get to a place of being like, you know what? I am proud of who I am, and I am Joe, I am male, and I am transgender. And there is nothing better than that. And people are either gonna like me for who I am, which is a part of that, or they're not. And if they're not, then it's not a place I need to be. And it's not a place I need to be involved in, because that means I have to adapt to somebody else's criteria in order to be accepted. And I didn't feel that way at all here. I felt like I could literally just be myself, that I could talk about my process, my transition, and that I wasn't judged and I wasn't made to feel like I'm this broken person that doesn't know what they really are, and that you were born female, so you really need to get back to that. It wasn't anything like that. It was like, great, what can we do so that you feel solid and can own that, so that you feel confident and comfortable in your own body? And man, it's such a relief and comforting to know that I can be someplace for 6 weeks and not have to hide it, not have to worry about what people are going to think, that it's against their beliefs or it's against what they think is right or wrong, that I can just be me. And it's, without trying to cry here, it's one of the few places that I've ever felt that way, where I don't have to be ashamed of it. I don't have to hide it. I don't have to think that anybody's going to think of me any less or love me any less or support me any differently. That I became proud of it. I became strong because of it, because I was able to own that power of who I am. And I'm so grateful that I have a place that can just welcome and just say, you need to be comfortable in your own skin, your own body, and that doesn't matter what label you are. Doesn't matter. It's you. It's who you are. And you need to take that power back and you need to own it. Because we love you for it. We don't care about labels. We love you for Joe. We don't care about the labels. We just want you to take the power back and know that that is who you are, and it is great the way that it is. What brought me here is that I wasn't dealing with any sort of addiction problem. I was fortunate enough to not have a substance abuse addiction. My addiction was control. And so therefore, I was scared all the time. I was hyper vigilant. I was angry. I wanted, if it was a situation that I couldn't control or know everything about, I couldn't be in a room with it. I couldn't be in the dark. I couldn't even be in a quiet room. And there was a lot of trauma and PTSD from from family, from religion, from being a cop. I saw things that nobody in this world should have to see and deal with. And you become emotionally numb at some point where it's just too hard to handle. And then when emotionally numb doesn't work, then anxiety, depression, stress, fear, feeling lack of control, feeling unsafe in your environment, whether it's a bubbled room and you literally can't get hurt, it's still scary and you still think you are. And I came here with that fear. I came here with somebody's going to hurt me. I'm going to be put in a place that I can't control. I'm not going to be able to get out the door if I need to. I'm not going to be able to control my anxiety, my anger. These people are going to hate me. They're not going to like me because I can't get my stuff together. And it was embraced so well that even when I did get anxious, even when I was scared of being in that dark room, even though there was a bunch of people there and I didn't want to be there, it freaked me out. It was okay for me to leave. I wasn't judged by it. And because I wasn't judged by it and shamed by it, and I wasn't shamed by the anxiety that I was feeling, and I could walk out of group and take a breather. I could take a break from a session. And it was never judged. I was never shamed. I was never made to feel guilty, that I ended up at a point where I can sit in the dark. I now meditate and do breath work with a blindfold on and do energy sessions with a blindfold on. I don't need a TV show to help me go to sleep anymore because I was even as scared of going to sleep. I didn't want to dream. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to see what was in front of me when if something showed up. And now I don't even think about it because it's the anxiety, the fear, it's just around those things are just gone. It's like nothing's going to hurt me. If anything hurts me, I'm going to hurt me. And I know I'm not going to hurt myself. So why not embrace the process and know that, hey, if you get a little nervous and you need a break, just take a break. That it's fine. You don't have to force yourself to sit in the uncomfortableness. Go get yourself back together, regroup, grab somebody to talk to if you need to. Go back if you feel comfortable. If you don't, that's fine too. We'll try again tomorrow. And try and set a little bit more time. If it's 1 minute today, make it 2 minutes tomorrow. There was no pressure to get it all fixed immediately within the first time you do something. And that really subsided the anxiety and the depression and the fear, most importantly, the fear of what's going to happen to me dissipated. It just dissipated. And I'm not scared anymore. Just not. I came here thinking I didn't care about anything. I did not care about anything. I would just give in to whatever and just let people do whatever they wanted because I just didn't care. And now I set boundaries. I set needs. I know what I care about. And I care now. And it's crazy. It's crazy.